What's up YouTube? It's your boy Naughty Nev, and today I have a Cyber Dragon versus Maliss replay. Before we get into it, I want to show you my deck profile quickly. I've made some changes. I've added 3 Phantasmes because if we do go up against Maliss, and also since people are playing the Fiendsmith engine, we can play Phantasme to increase our draw power, and it has been working well for me. So that is a new addition we made to the deck. And also I decided to add in more bestials. Again, this is for the same reason. We want to deal with our opponent's Fiendsmith engine, and also since they are playing bestials, maybe we also want to try prevent their bestials from being summoned to the field, and also more interaction that our opponent has to deal with before we can start with summoning Cyber Dragon Core and go for the OTK. I'm also playing the Fiendsmith trap in the main deck. I kept the branded regained, and I decided to put the Ultimate Slayer in the extra deck. So we added a Typhon, and I decided to play 2 Requiems. A lot of the duels, my opponent has been banishing the Requiem that was in my grave, and that was obviously the end of the Fiendsmith play. So I decided to put 2. I had an extra space, and yes, I'm putting a second Requiem. So this is the deck list, guys, and now we can hop on to the replay. So guys, our opponent is going first. I can't remember who won the rock paper scissors, but our opponent is going first. They open Impulse, Allure of Darkness, D-Barrier, Baldrake, and Imperm. In our opening hand, we have Talents, Fiendsmith Paradise, Cyber Dragon Nashter, and Phantasme. Okay, so our opponent goes first, and here they activate Allure first, and they draw 2. They draw into, opponent accidentally misclicked, but cool. They draw into Thrust, and they draw into a second Impulse. They banish the Baldrake, and here, since our opponent does not have any Maliss plays, they just set D-Barrier and Imperm, holding onto the Impulse in hand, and they pass. So we start our turn and we draw into Power Bond. So we don't have Core in our hand, which is quite unfortunate. It would be good to have Core, but drawing into Power Bond is also pretty good since we already have 2 Cyber Dragon names. However, there isn't really much play we can do. So we enter main phase, and I set Fiendsmith Paradise. That isn't really going to do anything. And with no interaction from our opponent, I go straight into Power Bond. Opponent calls Fusion. Like I was just shooketh knowing that my opponent mains D-Barrier, but hey, it is what it is. So our opponent calls Fusion, and I think here I just pass on this. Yes, I just pass on this. Isn't really much I can do here. Even I've used Nashter effect, and I used its effect to reborn Cyber Dragon. There's nothing I can do. I'm just locked into machine, so I just pass. Opponent starts, and they draw into Chessy Cat. So finally a Maliss monster, but this, I don't think this is a play they can do. I don't think this is full combo, if I'm not mistaken. So they summon Chessy Cat, enter battle phase, and they attack me for 1500, and then they go to end phase again, pass for turn, and now we draw into Cyber Dragon Core. Absolutely amazing. That's what we like to see. So here our plan is try to bait out as much interruptions our opponent has to successfully start our Cyber Dragon OTK line. So I go special summon Cyber Dragon, and next I use Nashter effect. I pitch the Phantasme to special summon Nashter to the field. Opponent decides to Impulse Nashter, and I think, yes, since he has a grave, Nashter will be destroyed. Nashter goes to grave, and now normal summon core effect, and he hits us with the Imperm. And now since core got negated, I will now start with our, before I do that, since I had the idea that if I start my Fiendsmith plays and I use Requiem effect to special summon, if my opponent negates Requiem with maybe an Ash, then I have no monster in the field. He is left with Chessy Cat, and that's the issue. So I first decided to enter battle phase, get rid of the Chessy Cat, and do a little bit of damage. Then in main phase 2, that is when we start our Fiendsmith play. So in main phase 2, link into Moon, into Requiem effect will then summon Lacrima. Lacrima effect will dump Engraver. Engraver will reborn itself by shuffling back Moon. And then here, yes, in this build I am playing the Wave Hiking Caesar, so I did think for a second if I wanted to go the Wave Hiking Caesar, but I decided to settle with Desiree since I already had the trap on the field, so that's 2 disruptions. So I go the Desiree route, and yes, sequence effect, special summon Desiree, get that negate, and I think we pass on this. Yes we do. We pass on this. Opponent starts their turn and they draw into Imperm, and since they had no play, they just scooped. So we're going to game 2. Opponent is going first, we're going second. I sided in the Lanciers. I don't think I made any other adjustment, so yeah. Opponent goes first. They have MTP07, Lubellion, Thrust, Dormouse, and Crossout. We open Lancia. Pretty good to see that in the opening hand. Phantasme, Juris, Fualos, and Lubellion. So no Cyber Dragon card, so hopefully this works out for us. Opponent starts their turn and they use Lubellion effect. Lubellion will get Mag. They normal... Oh, yes, sorry. Maliss players always do this. They set either a bluff, or if they have the trap, they'll set the trap first. Then our opponent normal summons Dormouse, and I'm thinking here when my opponent activates Dormouse effect, I chain Lancia. And then our opponent chains Crossout, but then when they looked in their deck, they actually don't have Lancia in the deck, so they just call Crossout. So Crossout was wasted. Opponent goes Thrust and they search for Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. And opponent just sets it and they pass. I think they pass, yes. No, actually I am mistaken. They link summon. They perform a link summon and then they pass. Now we draw into a second Fualos. Very unfortunate. There's no Cyber Dragon plays. And now here I was busy thinking what I could possibly do. Our opponent has Dormouse and Lubellion, which we could banish off Juris Worm. We also have Lancia. And then I was thinking, do I want to summon a monster onto their field? And if I summon a monster, Mag during our turn can special summon itself. Mag can get the search. So instead, I just decided to use Lubellion. See if some interaction my opponent has with the set card. So I just activate Lubellion. I get a Mag and I pass on this. So we pass and then our opponent starts their turn. Oh, I did enter battle phase. I thought of being funny. I enter battle phase, threatening the possibility of evenly match, but yeah, you know, I'm kind of dumb. So go to end phase. In the end phase, our opponent activates MTP 7, so our opponent will be able to add one Maliss monster from the deck to the hand, and they decided to add another Dormouse. So opponent starts their turn. They draw into Widow Anchor. And then in the main phase, our opponent starts with Engage. Engage will add Hornet Drones, activate Hornet Drones, special summon the token. And here on Resolution, I think I did activate Fualos. Yes, I activated the Fualos. Now here I was thinking whether I should activate the second one, but I went with the assumption that if my opponent decides to not perform any link summons, I don't want to waste the second Fualos, so I just decided to use only the one. But our opponent summons Dormouse. Dormouse effect banishes White Rabbit. White Rabbit effect will reborn herself and then set a trap. I think they set the GWC. Yes, the GWC. Next, our opponent, I think, yeah, does a link summon. They link summon into White Binder. We draw Power Bond. White Binder will banish Dormouse, Lancia, and Lubellion. And so here I was busy thinking whether I should banish maybe one of my monsters to bring out Mag. And I do not use any Mag effect or Juris. Opponent activates Dormouse. Dormouse will reborn itself. Here I'm busy thinking if I want to do anything on res, and I decide to activate the second Fualos, assuming that my opponent may be committed to special summoning from the deck or extra deck. Opponent activates White Binder. White Binder will reset the MTP 7. Next, our opponent activates Mag, and I decide I don't want him to get that Mag search. So we activate our own Mag, banishing his target. Mag effect, it will resolve. Opponent will activate MTP 7 the turn it was set by banishing a Maliss monster. Opponent will add Chessy Cat. And then our opponent will banish the mag since he controls a Link monster. Opponent will enter battle phase to deal us for some damage. Doesn't kill us though, so we still have another turn. Opponent activates GWC to reborn the Dormouse to get the White Binder effect that it can reborn itself when it is banished. So opponent activates the effect, reborns White Binder, and on the summon, since a Link monster was special summoned, we activate Phantasme. So Phantasme will special summon itself, get us 2 draws and shuffle back 1. So we draw into Thrust and Cyberdark Realm. So here I decide to shuffle back Power Bond because since we have Cyberdark Realm, we can just search Chimera and Chimera will get us the Power Bond. So, and also we don't have any Cyber Dragons in our hand, so we want to put back the Power Bond. So we put back the Power Bond. Our opponent then attacks us with White Binder, attacks us with Dormouse, we let that go through. And then end phase, opponent ends their turn and we start our turn drawing into the Chimera. That is not what we wanted to see at all. And I think I forgot to activate Mag. Yes, I think I forgot to resolve Mag. Yeah, that is very unfortunate. But okay, continuing, we go main phase and I decide to use Jerusalem. I'll use Jerusalem to banish their Lubellion, activate Cyberdark Realm, and then use the effect to normal summon Chimera. And here I was busy thinking, do I really want to search for Power Bond? But Power Bond isn't going to help us at all. We have no Cyber Dragons. So instead, I decide, let's try our Fiendsmith plays. So I perform a Link summon into Moon. Here I was busy thinking for a long time, and eventually I decided Link summon into Moon. Juris will send White Binder. Now we summon Requiem. Requiem effect to summon Lacrima. Lacrima effect will send Engraver. And opponent is thinking this is possibly when they want to use the Mag. So our opponent decides to use Mag to banish White Binder. And that goes through. Chainlink 1, White Binder, Chainlink 2, Mag. White Binder special summons itself. And then I think opponent, yes, uses the effect on summon to banish Engraver, Requiem, and our Chimera. So here, I didn't really have any other plays, but I went Thrust, Search. I didn't have any good search targets, but I just searched for Cyber Emergency, activated Cyber Emergency to add Cyber Dragon Core, but that does nothing. So after this, I think I just scooped. There really isn't anything I can do. Yeah, I just attack and eventually Link summon into SP effect, banish the White Binder, and then I pass, but my opponent already has more extenders and plays in the hand, so I just scoop. Now we go to game 2 and I make my opponent go first, of course, because Cyber Dragons is going for the OTK. So opponent's opening hand, Dominus Impulse, Fualos, Shifter, Engage, and another Fualos. Bro's trying to be Cyber Dragons here, playing 2 Fualos. So we have Fualos, Engraver, Nashter, Lancia, and Core. This is a great hand. Fualos and Lancia, very good. And we have Core, and we have Engraver, and possibly Nashter can be an extender for us, depending in what we draw next. So opponent goes first, and they decide to pass. They actually pass for turn. We start our turn drawing into Cyber Dragon, and in the draw phase, our opponent hits us with D-Shifter. I do let that go through. I don't waste the Lancia on it because I thought to myself, I have Fualos and Lancia, and also I'm pretty sure Lancia is fine. It can still go, it can tribute itself. It doesn't have to go to grave. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But since I have Fualos and Lancia, I was feeling pretty sure that I can just pass on this and I'll survive. Opponent also activates Fualos, and unfortunately for them, we do not do anything. We just go straight to end phase. Opponent draws into a Thrust. Entering main phase, they go Engage, add Widow Anchor. They do not, they do not add Hornet Drones because we're still under Shifter for this turn. So they just add Widow Anchor and then they pass. doesn't set Widow Anchor, probably for the Fualos, which he just activated in our standby phase. We join to another engraver. It's pretty good because Nashta now has a monster for it to discard between Cyber Dragon or engraver. So opponent hits us with Fualos, and here I decide to just use engraver, maybe gets an Ash out of the hand, but opponent doesn't do anything. So here I decide, okay, cool, I should probably not waste time and just go for the OTK. And I did not use Tracked first because the play with Cyber Dragon is Cyber Dragon Core searches as Cyberdark Realm. Cyberdark Realm will add us Chimera, and guys, remember that Cyberdark Chimera needs to discard a spell or trap from the hand to get Power Bond. So this is our discard, hence why I did not use its effect yet. So we summon Core. Core adds us Cyberdark Realm. Cyberdark Realm gets us Chimera. We summon Chimera, and then Chimera effect to get the Power Bond. And then here, can't really remember here, but I think since I successfully got Power Bond and Chimera allows us to use materials in our grave, I can just start my Fiendsmith plays. But I'm not sure if I did that first. Yes, okay. So I went with Power Bond first, and obviously opponent hits us with Impulse. Yes, negates that effect where it includes an effect to special summon. Cool. So Power Bond gets negated, no OTK. Unfortunate. And so here I decide, since I'm still under Fualos, I don't want to commit to special summoning from the extra deck, giving my opponent draws. I still have Lancia, which is good, so I decide to just enter battle phase, do some damage. Yeah, so attacking for 1200, and then I'm pretty sure we just end our turn. Cool. Opponent draws into Chessy Cat. But unfortunately, there's no other Maliss card for Chessy Cat to banish to draw to, and also possibly start some Maliss plays if they banish some other monster. So opponent enters main phase, they normal summon, and here, obviously, I couldn't remember what was in their hand. Well, I knew Widow Anchor, but I didn't know what was this card. So opponent did an illegal activation because they don't have a Maliss card to banish. So either my opponent did it on purpose to get an interruption out from me for their thrust to go live, but obviously I did not know, so I chained Lancia, of course, reasonable action, and then our opponent uses thrust. Thrust gets the talents. I don't know why my opponent didn't decide to draw 2, but he didn't. So yeah, he just goes talents to take, enters battle phase, wipes the board, and then in main phase 2, I didn't activate Fualos. I wasn't sure if he was going to link summon because I had no idea what he does with these two. Yeah, I wasn't sure what he does with it, but he links into SP and then sets the Widow Anchor and passes for turn. And now we draw, guys, we draw into Power Bond. It's over for this guy. We draw into Power Bond. We have engraver. We have interruptions for the back row, and we have Nashta to just summon itself, contact fuse, GG's, and also we have Cyber Dragon Core engrave. Cyber Dragon Core can use its other effect where you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. So we want to get rid of the SP first because you want to keep your materials on the field. So we start off with, I think, engraver. Yes, we get engraver's effect to add tracked. Then before I summon another monster on the field, I need to use Cyber Dragon Core effect now. So Core banishes, and the only other Cyber Dragon monster I had was another Cyber Dragon Core in my deck. So I summon Cyber Dragon Core, and we just contact fuse that baby away. No SP anymore. No problem. And now, like I said, you gotta bait out the interruptions before you do your Cyber Dragon plays for the OTK. So, tracked effect, adds Luri, sends Luri. Luri will reborn itself. We link summon to Requiem. Requiem effect to summon Lacrima. Lacrima, since we have Engraver in the field already, I decide to send the trap Then Engraver will reborn itself, shuffle back to Lurry. Opponent does not activate the Widow Anchor here. And here I was deciding whether to go into Wave Hiking Caesar or to Desiree. So I decided we can go into Desiree because it will for sure bait out that Widow Anchor to negate Sequence to Fusion Summon. And then we can just successfully go with Power Bond. And that is exactly what happened. We go into Sequence, Sequence effect gets negated, and there is no other interruptions. And so you know what we do next. Hit that Power Bond on the field. Power Bond into Chimera Tag Rampage Dragon. I obviously don't use the effect on someone to pop a spell or trap. It's really not needed. And also I don't use the effect to attack multiple times because our opponent had no interruptions, nothing to worry about. Rampage is at 4,200. Mega Fleet is at 2,400, and that's already game right there. So we enter battle phase, I attack, it's game, but my opponent, well, either forgot or didn't know that Rampage is actually at 4,200 attack, not at 2,100. So he thought he was safe. So I had to correct him. And yeah, guys, that is game. Cyber Dragon takes the win. I don't know why he drew, but I guess out of curiosity. So guys, Cyber Dragon wins the match against Maliss. And this is what the new deck list that I showed, guys. You can go back to the beginning of the video to check my deck list. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the match. Hit a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and put your notification bells on so that when I drop another video, you get notified as soon as possible. Otherwise, till the next video, guys, Naughty Nev signing out. Peace.